In the year 1324, something happened in Cairo that should have been impossible. Gold suddenly became less valuable. Merchants panicked. Prices shifted. Entire markets became unstable. And according to multiple historical records, the man responsible wasn't a Roman emperor, wasn't a Chinese ruler, and wasn't a European king. He came from a place many medieval Europeans considered distant, mysterious, and almost mythical. He came from Africa. And what happened next would force the world to acknowledge something most history classes still barely mention: that some of the richest, most connected, and most sophisticated empires on Earth were African. But if that's true, why do so few people know their names? To answer that, we have to follow the gold. His name was Mansa Musa. And by the early 14th century, he ruled the empire of Mali, an empire stretching across West Africa, built on something the medieval world desperately wanted: gold. Not small mines, not regional deposits. Some historians believe Mali controlled a huge share of the known world's gold supply. And Musa knew exactly what that meant. In 1324, he began a pilgrimage to Mecca. But this wasn't a normal journey. Imagine thousands of attendants, soldiers, servants, camels, horses, and gold everywhere. Gold staffs, gold jewelry, gold dust, gold loaded onto caravans crossing the Sahara. When Musa entered Cairo, he gave away so much gold that the local economy reportedly struggled for years. Think about that. One ruler from one African empire had enough wealth to influence markets hundreds of kilometers away. So here's the real question. If Africa was producing this kind of power, what else was happening there? A few decades later, European cartographers began drawing something strange. On medieval maps, far south of Europe, far beyond the Mediterranean, appeared the image of a king, sitting on a throne, holding a piece of pure gold. That king was Mansa Musa, which means Europe didn't just know Africa existed. Europe knew Africa was rich, connected, important. Caravans crossed the Sahara carrying salt, copper, textiles, books, and gold. Cities like Timbuktu became centers of trade, learning, and scholarship. Students traveled there. Scholars wrote there. Libraries grew there. And for a moment, West Africa wasn't on the edge of the world. It was helping shape it. But Mali wasn't the only empire rewriting history. Thousands of kilometers away, another mystery was rising from stone. Deep in southern Africa, surrounded by hills and granite rock, stands one of the most mysterious cities on the continent, Great Zimbabwe. Massive stone walls, some over 10 meters high, built without mortar, built with precision, built centuries before colonial powers arrived. And when Europeans first encountered these ruins, many refused to believe Africans built them. Some blamed lost civilizations. Some blamed traders from Arabia. Some blamed almost anyone, except the people who actually lived there. But archaeology told a different story. These structures were built by African engineers, African builders, African rulers. And at its peak, Great Zimbabwe controlled major gold trade routes reaching the Indian Ocean, which means African goods, African wealth, and African influence were moving across continents. And this raises an even bigger question. What happens when an empire doesn't just control land, but controls the crossroads of the world? To find that answer, we move northeast, to the highlands of modern Ethiopia. Nearly 2,000 years ago, there stood a kingdom called Aksum. And Aksum wasn't just powerful, it was global. Its ships moved through the Red Sea. Its merchants traded with Rome, with Arabia, with India. Its rulers minted their own coins, something only elite civilizations could do. Think about what that means. While parts of Europe were still politically fragmented, Aksum was trading across oceans, building monuments, expanding religion, projecting power. Some ancient writers even placed Aksum among the great powers of the known world. And yet, outside specialist circles, most people have never even heard its name. So how does history forget empires like Mali, Zimbabwe, or Aksum? The answer isn't that they disappeared. Their cities existed, their trade routes existed, their coins existed, their manuscripts existed, their architecture still exists. No, the real mystery isn't why these empires were lost. It's why their stories stopped being told. Because history isn't always erased by destruction. Sometimes it's erased by silence. And maybe that's the biggest surprise of all. These African empires were never myths. They weren't legends. And they certainly weren't isolated. They shaped economies, connected continents, and influenced the medieval world. The world knew their names once. Maybe it's time we learned them again.